and welcome to the Visionary VA podcast, the go-to show for ambitious virtual assistants who are ready to stop trading their time for money and start scaling their businesses into thriving agencies. I'm Holly Copsey, founder of the award-winning agency Virtually Priceless and the Visionary VA Circle community. Each week, I'm here to bring you actionable strategies, proven systems, and mindset shifts to help you transition from a solo VA to a visionary agency owner. If you're ready to grow your business to dizzying new heights with less stress and more success, you're in the right place. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Visionary VA podcast. If you've ever daydreamed about what it would be like to grow a team, reduce your client hours, and scale your income, today's episode is for you. Because while the idea of growing a team sounds exciting, it's the numbers behind the dream that will either make or break your model. In this episode, we're diving into the financial reality of building a VA team, what it really costs, what you can earn, and how to know if it's the right step for you. I covered this very topic a couple of weeks ago when I spoke at the Northeast VA conference, and I had quite a lot of follow-up questions from attendees about the points we covered. So I thought it would be useful to do a short recap on it today. So let's start with the big question. Why are you in business? I hope right now the answer you're shouting at me is to make money. Yes, you probably love what you do. You want flexibility. You want to help people and all of that other good stuff. But ultimately, this is a business and your business needs to be profitable because otherwise it's a very stressful hobby and quite frankly, you'll struggle to keep a roof over your head. So if you're considering building a team, you need to be crystal clear about how the finances stack up because adding team members doesn't automatically mean making more money. You've got to be strategic about it and do it in the right way. So let's take a look at a few scenarios so you can see the numbers in action. If you're a solo VA working, say, 25 client hours a week at £35 an hour, you're looking at bringing in $3,500 a month based on a 4-week month. Pretty straightforward. Now, you're probably also doing another 5 hours a week on your own admin, onboarding, marketing, and so on. And those are unpaid hours. So that's going to be a 30-hour a week total. So scenario 2, perhaps you're now a VA with a small team. Let's say you do 20 client hours a week at £35 an hour. That's going to be $2,800 a month. Then you have 2 associates also doing 20 hours a week between them at the same client rate. So an additional $2,800 coming in. But of course, you're going to have to pay those associates. So I'm going to use a rate of £25 an hour. So let's say that $2,000 of that immediately goes back out to paying that team. So you're actually making an additional £800 a month from them, bringing you to $3,600. Now, of course, you were already bringing in $3,500 in the solo VA example. So you might be thinking, but Holly, is it really worth it for that extra £100? But of course, the bigger win here is that you've freed up an additional 40 hours a month of your billable time. So now you can use that however you see fit. Perhaps it's to focus on growing your business, finding new clients, marketing, or maybe just reclaiming a bit of your life and doing something for you. Now, if we take this a bit further, imagine you continue this model and grow to 4 associates covering 40 client hours a week, so another 160 billable hours a month. Now add that to your 20 hours a week, and you're now billing for 60 hours a week, bringing you in around $8,400 a month. You're paying out $4,000 in associate fees, but that leaves you with $4,400 a month. And at this stage, you're still only working 20 billable hours a week, but you've got much more flexibility in how you use the rest of your time, depending on how many hours you work. And if you spend that time wisely, growing the business or working on higher value tasks, you can continue to scale. Now, it becomes even more exciting if you move away from that low £35 an hour rate. Now, let's say you charge £40 an hour. With the same structure, your 20 hours plus 40 associate hours a week, you'd be bringing in $9,600 a month. And after paying your team $4,000 for the month, your net income jumps to $5,600 a month. And you're still only doing 20 client hours a week. With those associates now making more, you could further reduce those client hours, take a bit more for yourself, or really invest in the growth of your business. That's where the real shift starts to happen. Now, it's all very exciting to do the maths and to see what's possible, but of course, there's an awful lot more to think about behind the scenes. And bringing in a team and running your business with a different structure is also going to incur some additional overhead costs. You might need to pay for time tracking tools, project or task management software, potentially other licenses. Your insurance might increase. You might have higher accountancy fees. And ultimately, you may even hit the VAT threshold and have those costs to factor in too. And that's why it's so important that you set the right rates and charge your clients enough to make a decent margin. If you're only making a £5 an hour margin, it's not enough and won't allow you to build a scalable model. You need to be making at least £10 an hour and ideally more. Because let's also not forget that it's going to take you time and stress to manage those team members and all of the client relationships. And it will take you more time than you initially envisage, I promise you. So make sure you're realistic about the cost involved. Do your homework, know your numbers, and make sure you understand the difference between profit and turnover. Don't get seduced by top-line figures. Ensure the business you build is financially viable as well. Now, what I don't want to see to get you making that decent margin is paying associates incredibly low rates. If you want to retain team members of the highest quality, you need to pay them properly. So if you want to pursue this team model, you have got to be charging your clients appropriately and making sure that flows through to your team. Having a high turnover of associates won't be good for your stress levels, for forging long-lasting client relationships, or for maintaining a great reputation as a good lead VA. So, how do you make it work? Start small. Don't rush to hire 5 associates overnight. Start with 1, test the waters, and build it slowly. Be strategic about who you bring in and how you price. Focus on building a profitable, sustainable model, not just a busy one. And remember, it's okay if your goal isn't to build a huge team. Maybe you just want support with your own admin or someone to cover you when you're on holidays. That's still a team. That still counts. Building a team is exciting. It can open up more time, more freedom, and more income, but only if you get the numbers right. So this week, I want you to sit down with your calculator, get stuck into a spreadsheet, and play with the numbers. What would your business look like with 1 or 2 associates? Where are you now in that journey? What would it cost? What could it earn you? And how would it change your life? Get clear on the financial model, and then you can think about building it from there. And if you'd like to dive deeper into this, come and join us in the Visionary VA Circle group over on Facebook. And if this episode has given you food for thought, I'd love to hear what numbers you're crunching and how it's looking. You can drop me a message or tag me in your social posts. Thanks for listening and see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Visionary VA podcast. I hope you're walking away with fresh ideas and inspiration to scale your VA business. Don't forget to check out our free mini course on building solid business foundations, perfect for setting your VA agency up for success without the overwhelm. You'll find the link in the show notes. If you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a review. See you next week.